Hey guys, this is Connor at Conquest Human Performance, and this is how to Birddog, because the Birddog is among the most important and best exercises you could ever work towards doing well. And it's a very fundamental movement that's a good box to check off before you get into heavy squats, deadlifts, and more complex sporting exercise, that kind of thing. It's also a good exercise to kind of screen and maintain if you want to prevent or at least minimize your chances of low back pain, hip issues, all kinds of different things, shoulder issues. So it's just a good exercise, covers a lot of ground. That being said, it is an exercise that is done very poorly almost all the time, even by trainers and even in clinical settings a lot of the time. It doesn't have to be that way. There are a few simple things that you can do to make your Birddog adequate and excellent. And if you can get it to that point, chances are you can go throughout your day and squat and bench and deadlift and do all kinds of other fun things without issue. So when we're Birddogging, so the basic Birddog, if you've never seen it before, you may have never seen it before. That'd be a real game changer if you hadn't. It's an exercise you do from your hands and knees. So I got my hands beneath my shoulders and my knees beneath my hips. This position should be relatively neutral. Just a neutral low back. So, I mean, if you get into this hands and knees position and you're automatically arching your back a lot, some degree of that low back arch is going to be natural, but we don't want it to be excessive. So if I'm really cranking myself in a position, that's probably a little excessive, and you probably shouldn't be rounded like that in this position. If you're either of those things, what I recommend you doing is just kind of fluctuate back and forth. So go like cat-cow and see what your extremes of range of motion are and kind of stick in the middle. So for me, I can get pretty far each way. So I'm just going to hang out at more or less neutral. It kind of looks like a flat back when I'm looking at it. So from the starting position, what I'm going to do is raise one arm, keep the arm at the elbow nice and straight in front of me, and I'm going to kick one foot straight back behind me. So let me give it a little more space here so you can see. So one arm and one leg. And what I want to do is try to keep this back position, my core position, my whole body as stable as possible as I do it. So you shouldn't see much movement from low back to my neck as I get into that position. And you should see relatively full extension if I'm doing this well. When I do get to the top position there, you will see my glutes starting to push up a little bit. I've got big glutes, so you're just going to see that. That's not my low back moving. So that's the basics of the exercise. Obviously, I go back and forth between the sides, so I'm raising one arm opposite leg, and I'm switching arm and leg back and forth. What you'll routinely see is fluctuating positions. So I start off in a decent position. As soon as I start the movement, I start arching my back to get into that position. So normal, and then arch. And every rep is a flexion and extension. If there's movement back here, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. The whole point of this exercise is that I can create enough stiffness through my core that my spine doesn't need to move for my hip and my shoulder to move. Because when you get into things like running and sports exercises or sports themselves or squatting or deadlifting, I don't want my low back to have to move for me to get through those things. Some sports things like throwing a ball, your low back is going to have to move. But for a deadlift, if my hips aren't doing the work, or if my hips need my low back to move to do the work, I'm in trouble. That's going to load my low back a lot more than I should with that exercise. So I don't want that. So the Birddog is all about training that tendency out of you. So if I get into this position, if I see any rotation, I really have to open my hips and kind of lift my hip up to the side, or if I see that kind of flexion extension, extending my spine, those are definitely red flags that we want to train out of you. So if you have those things going on, we can improve your technique right away by doing a few simple things. First off, when you get into the start position, tense your abs, kind of as hard as you can, like someone's going to hit you in the stomach. There's a good cue for bench and deadlift and squat and all those other things too. So once you get into position, I'm just stiffening my core like someone's going to come up and sucker punch me. Keep that stiffness the whole time. And if I can maintain that stiffness, chances are my back will not change positions. And chances are, if my back does change positions, I've lost that stiffness. So again, for a squat, for a deadlift, for carrying your groceries or carrying your kids, having that stiffness when you need it is important, and being able to maintain it is important. So first things first, get some core stiffness. If that doesn't change those issues right away, we can expand it. So an advanced version of the Birddog means that I'm creating full body tension. So this should turn into stiffening the core, and then as soon as I'm lifting one arm and one leg, I'm creating as much tension, voluntary tension, as I can in every muscle in my body. So that means my quads are firing, my hamstrings, my calves if I can get them, my glutes, absolutely, my arms, so I'm flexing my arms, as much tension as I can create, and maintain that tension from head to toe. Now, if I do every rep like that, I'm going to break a sweat pretty fast. It turns into a pretty hard exercise, so it's a win-win-win. And having that tension from head to toe is going to really help you create extra tension along the spine to make sure nothing's moving. So if either of those are both good things for everyone to do, by the way. Even if your Birddog is pretty good right now, work on those things, make it harder, makes it a lot more interesting. If that's still not fixing your issue, notice that I'm moving really slow when I do my reps because it takes a lot of control. I want full range of motion in my shoulder and in my hip. Those aren't things that are going to come very easily to most people. So if I go through my reps quickly, it becomes a lot harder for me to keep that stability. And that's going to be true whether you have strong core or not. So first things first, make sure you can do it slow. Don't rush your reps. So stiffness in the core, stiffness in the whole body. Don't rush your reps. And if you still can't do it, go partial range of motion. So if I'm okay until I get to here, and then I start breaking that spinal position, only go as far as you can control. That's it. Every rep, I'll just go there, go to the end of my control range, and then slowly expand until I have that control. But me pushing past what I can control now to a position where I get into a bad spinal position or a less than ideal spinal position, it's not going to help me at all right now. So partial range motion if you need it, slow the reps down, lots of tension from head to toe. Make sure you don't lose that tension in the core. And the low back shouldn't be moving. There should be stiffness kind of from base of the neck to your tailbone. Those positions between the vertebrae should stay the same the whole time. And you can illustrate that by using a dowel or a broomstick or whatever. I threaten athletes with a bowl of water, that kind of stuff. Place on the low back to make sure that stability is there. But these things are important. These are the entire point of this exercise. So treat it with some respect. If you get really good at this, it means that you can maintain that core tension through a full shoulder and hip range of motion, which is saying a lot. It's a good thing to have on your resume. And don't abandon it. Come back to it. Use it as part of your warm-up. Go for that maximal tension, low rep kind of strategy, because that makes it really hard, even if you're in really good shape. And just enjoy, because if you can Birddog well, you can do lots of other things well. It's starting to sound like a dance move. It's definitely not a dance move that I know of, but yeah, get good at it, maintain it. You'll be glad that you did. And if you ever have issues with hip, back, shoulders, this is always a good exercise to regress to. So again, Connor with Conquest Human Performance. Check out the other videos on the channel, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe on this one, and leave any questions you might have for me below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.